We're going to win the league.
Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Suchit in the Football Showdown channel. This is a new segment that I've been trying to think about or trying to come up with plans on how to implement it, but here we are after almost 2 weeks that I can finally implement it, and I got a special guest for today's channel. He's a friend that I last spoke to back in 2012 or 13 when he shifted all the way to Australia, when we both studied. We both were like classmates in Qatar in the same school, but then he shifted all the way to Australia for his family. But again, because of the huge community that we have common between us, the football community, we got back in connection. We started talking about football. We spoke about our own personal teams, our own perspective about each other's teams, and yeah, we had a lot of banter as well. And I thought, he would be the perfect guest for our first episode in this specific segment. Also, he has a podcast in the medical field. I will be linking that podcast in the description, so do check it out. And without any other thing left, I will just introduce him right now. Hi, Jayant, also known as Jay by his friends in Australia. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I love the introduction. Thanks for including the podcast. It's a bit of a brainchild.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do well in this YouTube field. You're trying to do well in the podcast field. So yeah, I guess we could just got to share and like support each other.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Yeah. Well, I'll just dive straight into the main topic, the elephant in the room, I guess. What is your whole thought process about Klopp leaving out of the blue without any leaks in the media? I'm sure like nobody knew any idea about Klopp leaving this season or next season. So there were even talks that Klopp might stay beyond next season. So yeah, how did it all go for you?
I mean, starting off when the news broke Friday evening, yeah, it was a pretty bad Friday evening.
Right.
I thought people were just screwing with me, but when I actually saw Fabrizio report on it, I was like, oh no.
Okay.
Why? What happened? Why all of a sudden? But it turns out he wanted to leave at the start of the season, is what I've heard.
Oh.
And I don't blame him. He like burnout and all that's real. Having one good season, then falling off, having to rebuild everything again, and then going from the beginning all over again. I think it drains anyone, not just Klopp. But I do think there's also something else behind the scenes that we haven't been told about. Must have been some fallout with the owners, or like the budget was an issue, or like Klopp just couldn't keep competing with the big teams on his not small budget, but smaller budget compared to the other teams like City. City, Chelsea did feel like he could compete. But again, he's given us 9 years. Where admittedly he's only won Premier League, but if Pep wasn't born, he would have had a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Champions League, he's been 3 Champions League finals. He's won us pretty much every trophy except for Europa League, which we are in contention for this year. So I can't really complain about Klopp leaving after 9 years. And at least he's leaving with the club in a better shape than he would have left last year.
True.
And I do remember seeing this tweet that his wife persuaded him to stay in the club when he was deciding to quit midway through last year. And I'm glad he didn't do that, because without him, we wouldn't have the team we have right now, the players we have right now, the fight that we have right now. So I think he's leaving on a high, which is better than, for example, a Wenger or a Sir Alex Ferguson that left when the club was going on a down, but he's leaving when the club's going on up. So I think that gives us a bit of an advantage to help rebuild the team or rebuild the club in a way that's not going to be too detrimental. But obviously, we can't call that right now. We have to wait and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. There's a very important point that you said regarding competing against the big teams in spite of having a low budget. I think your owners are not that rich or do not spend that much amount of money in the squad. It's always recouping the money that you make through sales or through other ways. So I personally thought Liverpool wouldn't be where they are right now in start of the season, because especially I think you needed a defensive midfielder, right? So I thought when you guys almost got Lavia, I was like, okay, they've almost rebuilt the entire midfield in like just in just one window. But then Lavia's deal falls through because of the entire Caicedo deal. The entire Caicedo saga was a different thing. I personally thought that was a joke. Like, you guys were like struggling to pay about like 60 to 70 million for Lavia. Then I thought suddenly 115 for Caicedo came out of nowhere. And then Klopp.
No, I don't think it was nothing to pay. I don't think that was just above value evaluation of how much he's worth with his injury record. And I don't think personally a 60 million player is just Southampton trying to fleece everyone for their players because they were getting relegated. I don't think it was the because we paid 60 million for Szoboszlai before we were going to pay for Lavia. So I think the money was there. It's just they weren't. They didn't think he was 60 million player.
Makes sense.
No,
Makes
I
sense.
would
Yeah.
personally, I would think it's around the 35 mark for Lavia. Because if you look at what he's doing at Chelsea right now, he pretty much hasn't played a single game yet or a full game, 90 minutes yet,
True.
which I think is kind of a dodgy bullet there that we didn't go for him.
I mean, it's easier to say now that he's not worth the money because he's injured, right? What if he came to Liverpool and never got that ACL injury or the long-term injury that he has had? Maybe it would have been a different
Yeah,
story.
but I think it's kind of good that we didn't end up paying that much money for him, or we
Mm-hmm.
didn't even go for him in the end, because I think the one thing about the transfers we do is we do transfers. Most of our transfers are very thought out, sensible transfers
True.
in a way.
True. True.
You
True.
know?
Hmm. Because the entire Soberslai, because I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I think Soberslai was linked to Arsenal, or Arsenal were linked to Soberslai back in 2021-22 season, like in that during that summer season.
I
Um,
remember he was linked to quite a few clubs. I don't know who he was linked to, but I remember he was linked to a few clubs. It might have been Arsenal, might have been someone else. I'm not too
yeah,
sure.
it
But yeah,
was Arsenal or him going back, going to another sister club in that Red Bull association.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember seeing
'cause I
him.
think he
Yeah, I was very
had
impressed with
a
him.
season that didn't he was caught. He caught the eye in the Champions League that season, didn't he?
Yeah,
If I
exactly.
recall.
He did. I mean, it was during the lockdown period as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
people were
yeah,
just like watching any game that comes on the telly. So I guess that's where a majority of the people caught him. Then there's a lot of rumors from the agent as well saying that he might be linked to Arsenal. And obviously, when a player is linked to a big club in the Premier League, they're always hyped. They're always like looked under a microscope. You got to see it, or they see everything. Probably the entire Twitter will become another tactician association or something.
yeah.
So
And
yeah.
like, welcome to Arsenal
uh,
skills goal competition 2021 or something.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember seeing that.
Okay, you know what, we'll make it more interesting right now. What do you think is the most bizarre take that you heard from an Arsenal fan regarding Liverpool, or from the
I
Arsenal
think
association? What is the
the
worst thing
one
that you
that
have heard about Liverpool?
the one that boiled my blood, or boiled my blood the most, would have been that Saka is going machine for machine with Salah in the Premier League over the last 3 years.
Nah.
I think that's probably the worst take I've seen from an Arsenal fan on Twitter.
uh, I mean,
Like, again, Saka's a really good player. I mean, he's really good. He's not world class or anything just yet. He has the potential to be world class,
right.
but you can't really compare him to Salah, who's been consistently performing in this league since what? Since 2018,
Yeah, 2018 when you guys
2017,
won the Champions League. Yeah.
that first season he came in and broke the record. He scored 32. The next season, obviously he dipped, but he's still been providing goals and assists since 6, 7 years he's been here. You can't really compare. And I don't think it's fair on Saka either to compare him to one of the best in the league. Because he's not there yet, but he has the potential to get there. And personally, I think Arteta is sort of ruining his talent in a way by overplaying him at this age.
Okay.
Because he's played a lot of games for someone who's 22 years old. I've heard he's carrying an injury in his Achilles or something as well, and that's impeding as well.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I don't know. Like, that's a horrible take for me, and it's not fair on Saka or Salah. And I think Salah's a really disrespected player in the Premier League.
I think it's fair for Saka to be compared to Salah, but I think it's unfair for Salah to be compared to Saka. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think there's also too much pressure on the young player to be compared to such a big player at this age.
That is very true. I mean, like, yeah, you got a Haylander coming out of the academy doing bits. I think after Wilshere, I think this is probably the biggest talent that is still out there doing great numbers, doing great bits for the Arsenal. So I guess I understand the hype, but almost comparing him to the best player in the Premier League, I think that is completely unfair on Saka, because that's insane amount of pressure. But again, they're fans. I guess it's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Well, The next segment that I want to discuss with you is the combined 11. Like, I'm sure it will get a lot heated, but we'll try to keep it as censored as possible because I don't want to. I mean, there's a chance that my mom even watches this video, so that's why I don't want to go complete. Uh,
Oh, that's fine.
the complete. So yeah, let's. What kind
I
of?
think my is very unbiased, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah,
I do.
I think we both can have a rational take on each player on why we want them to be in the combined 11. So yeah, before we go into the combined 11, who we're going to add? So what kind of formation are you thinking? 4-3-3,
I'm gonna play 4-3-3 with inverted fullbacks.
obviously. Obviously, I mean, like if, we're Arsenal and you're
But
Liverpool.
Command 11, I do have a few hot takes in there that I want to discuss with you.
Yeah, definitely we can do that. We can do that. Okay, I think goalkeeping situation. I will go ahead and agree to it without you saying anything because it's kind of obvious that David Raya has to be the goalkeeper.
What'd you say?
No, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's going to be Allison. Allison for me, yeah, yeah.
I mean, just with the Arsenal goalkeeping situation, I don't know why.
Hmm.
What's his name? That I bought in Raya when he's so similar to Ramsdale
Uh-huh.
in terms of every quality he possesses. The only thing about Ramsdale I will say is his positioning is really bad,
Right.
but his athleticism and reaction save him. I've said this to you multiple times. That's
Hmm.
what I think Ramsdale is. His positioning is horrible,
Hmm.
but his athleticism saves him a little bit.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
don't think Raya's an improvement on Ramsdale as Arteta thinks. I don't know, he's just being stubborn or arrogant. I don't know what's going on, but
Hmm.
I just don't understand that whole Raya business.
Yeah,
Unless he's just Spanish because he likes Spanish players, maybe. I don't know.
probably. So yeah, we're gonna stick with Allison at the goalkeeping position.
Yep.
Centre back pairing.
I think that Virgil van Dijk walks into any team right now. I think.
We,
Like, you
we,
can't dispute
we're
that.
gonna talk about the present form, or are we talking about like the player, the aura, and the history that they have? If it's present form, I
I think
think we can
every I
argue.
think a bit of 50-50 with current form and what they've done in the past. Because I don't think you can ignore what a player has done in the past for their team when
See,
you're talking about
if
a
it is
combined 11.
completely about the way Virgil van Dijk is, obviously he walks into the team. But I think in terms of form, I personally feel it could be Konate and Magalhaes, or it could be Saliba and Konate. But I think Saliba Konate are like very similar players. So
Yeah.
and in their present form, both of them are great. But having both of them in the same team, starting together is going to be an issue. So if we are going to be like a compromise, I think Magalhaes as a left-footed centre back and Konate as a right-footed centre back is a better pairing than having Saliba and Konate, because I can't just agree that
Yeah.
Van Dijk is going to be the pairing with Konate. There has to be a centre back from Arsenal
Yeah,
because
no,
there's
no,
no
I
way.
agree with that. I agree with that. What I was going to say here is, I think Konate has
Hmm.
had a massive season this year for
True,
us.
true.
And in ways, I think personally he's been better than Saliba, but that's just me. I think might be my Liverpool bias, but
Hmm,
I think
hmm,
he's better, a better player than Saliba.
hmm, hmm.
Not saying Saliba's not a good player. He's been amazing for Arsenal this season and last season.
True.
And it's clear to see the changes that he's brought in that back line.
Hmm.
Truthfully speaking, I want to put Konate and VVD in the back, but obviously that's going to be outrage because Arsenal need to have centre back there because their defense has been solid this season.
Exactly. So there's no way I'm going to
So I
put
think
both.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think that I think about it, Konate should be in their starting combined 11,
Hmm.
but I can't leave VVD out of it. It's Virgil van Dijk.
Because I'm not leaving Magalhaes and Saliba out of this out of this
I'd
centre
rather
back
have
pairing.
Van Dijk and Saliba, to be honest.
Sorry,
I'd rather have Van Dijk and Saliba.
Van Dijk and Saliba. Huh.
Yeah.
Like, see, like I said, if it's present form, I rather have Konate and Magalhaes. But if you're like talking about like the player as a thing, I think Van Dijk walks in like without any doubt, like no doubt for sure. And then the other centre back will always be up for grabs, like always going to be an argument. So do you want to have it
Yeah,
as a present form, or do you want to have it like player history and everything?
I think let's go half and half. But still, I think for me,
Hmm.
like, you can't go past Van Dijk. Even this season has been immense, and I think a part of that has been Konate being his centre back pairing and it's mopping up everywhere. But I think without Virgil there,
Hmm.
they wouldn't have that freedom or that comfort to go and do what he's doing on the other side.
Hmm.
If that makes sense. Bring that right back area and all that
Hmm.
because he knows that I've got Virgil there.
Hmm.
If you looked at the game against when he didn't play when it was Kwanzaa and Konate at Emirates in the FA Cup.
Hmm.
Konate didn't have that much more freedom, and it was very evident in that first half
Huh. Huh.
that Konate was a lot more under pressure. We had a younger centre back playing with him, so I think that's why Virgil is more important to put in this 11 because he gives that freedom for other players to go and do what they can do best, knowing that he's there at the back to protect if something goes wrong.
So you want to go Van Dijk and Magalhaes or like Van Dijk and Saliba? Which one?
I go Van Dijk and Saliba. I think Saliba will be, if you put Van Dijk with Saliba, Saliba's talents are going to come out even more because his ball playing ability is really good. And I think he's very similar profile with Konate.
Right.
He's close to the Konate, so I think that balance is going to be there with Van Dijk and Konate, Van Dijk and Saliba in this case. I think we should go with Van Dijk and Saliba.
Right back, without a doubt, without any discussion, it's going to be Trent. I don't think I don't think there's a discussion there. Left back, I personally think it is Zinchenko versus Robertson. Tsimikas is good, but obviously he has his defensive issues, I feel. Timber, we've not seen him in the Premier League. He's had a great preseason. He's had an insane community shield, but got injured in the first Premier League after 46 minutes. So I'm not putting those two. So it has to be Zinchenko versus Robertson.
For me, I think Zinchenko has his qualities, definitely. But defensively, he's just not there.
True.
For me. So I think Robertson has to be the left back here.
You know what?
Like, obviously,
I sort of agree with you,
right.
actually. If you look at things, right, like Robertson has scored goals. He has assisted as well. That doesn't simply come if he doesn't have the quality for that, right? And defensively, Robertson is much, much superior than Zinchenko. Zinchenko, attacking-wise, he is great. Like, just attacking-wise. But I don't think he's that good defensively when compared to Robertson, obviously. So I wouldn't mind losing this out on Robertson being in the combined level. Now,
okay, so we have backline and goalkeeper done. Now midfield.
Midfield. I know Endo had a good game against Arsenal. Okay. But I think as an overall season, Rice had a better season than Endo so far. So I think Rice, Szoboszlai and Odegaard would be my midfield.
For me, I was going to say, obviously, I pick Rice as my centre defensive midfield, but I actually don't like Odegaard that much.
Is it? Okay.
I'm not a fan of Odegaard because for me, Odegaard is sort of like Bruno, that he goes missing in the big games.
Right.
He doesn't turn up in big games, or I don't know. He's become a bit of a, how do I say it? A bit of a ballerina recently. Flopping his arms around for everything and crying a bit too much. So I actually don't have Odegaard in my combined 11. I have Szoboszlai and Jones.
What?
I don't like Odegaard. I was debating putting Szoboszlai / McAllister or Odegaard / Jones.
I just don't like McAllister is there. Oh shit! I forgot for a second. I forgot McAllister was there.
It was between McAllister and Odegaard for me. And then I was like, Jones also has been really good for us this season. Now that I think about it, I might swap McAllister for Jones. I know I'm going to get a lot of stick from Arsenal fans for this, but I just don't like Odegaard as a player. And that's just, you can call that Liverpool bias, whatever you want, Delulu, whatever you want, but I just don't like Odegaard as a player.
See, Odegaard?
Is he not a good? He's a really good player.
It's Odegaard, dude. It's damn Odegaard. I'm sure he walks into any midfield. Okay, Liverpool, obviously there is an argument. City, there is an argument. But I think any other team in the Premier League would take...
Yeah, no. I'm not saying Odegaard is not a good player. He's a really good player. It's just, I don't like him, so I don't have him in my combined 11.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Right. We really do have to come to a compromise here.
Okay, so I think let's go with Rice, Odegaard, and McAllister.
Not Szoboszlai? I think McAllister and Odegaard are like the more creative types, so you need someone who does the dirty work. So I think Szoboszlai is a must. Like, I feel Szoboszlai and Rice is a must. What do you think? Because you saw the way Szoboszlai played against us. He was doing most of the cleaning up work whenever Trent was in the midfield. So you know how great he is, right?
The thing with that is, based on who we go at right wing, which I know who we're going to choose,
it's Salah.
That little triangle on the right is going to be Trent, Szoboszlai, and Salah, which has been really good for us this season. So I think we should go with Szoboszlai. I think you're right. in this
Exactly.
situation.
So Wasline Odegaard and with Rice in the midfield. The right wing is obvious. It's very obvious. It's going to be Salah. No doubt. There's no. We don't
Yep.
need a discussion for that. No discussion. For the left wing, I feel uh, against Liverpool, I think Martinelli is great, but I think this player you just can't drop him. You just need him in the team. So I feel on the left wing you got to have Saka. What is your opinion about that? Is it like too controversial? Is it like me trying to like just include Saka just because he's Saka?
Look, I wish I could include
Okay.
Saka in this team as well.
Hmm.
But for me, I don't think he's going to be a left winger in this team
Okay.
because you don't really like the way this team is going to play. You can't really have a left-footed left back, a left-footed midfielder, a left-footed left winger. It's not going to work
True.
in terms of the balance in that team. So I think Martinelli, Trossard, or Luis Diaz.
Nah, not Trossard, not Trossard. Trossard this season, he's had like, I mean, Trossard is good. Martinelli is also good, but this season both of them have been off. I think Trossard has a better season than Martinelli this season, but
Yeah.
again, I think Martinelli is better. So I think it has to be Martinelli or Luis Diaz. For me, it's Martinelli then.
I don't agree. For me, it's Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
I think Luis Diaz. If you discount from when he had that injury when Partey injured him, I think if he had continued on that form, he would have been a better player than he is right now. But again, you can see that confidence starting to come back in again. I don't know if you watched the FA Cup game on the weekend against Norwich.
I didn't get the time. Sorry.
Yeah. Remember that touch he had against Everton in the Premier League with the back, like the Neymar touch? He did that again on the weekend, and then they scored a goal from that play. So I think the confidence is slowly coming back to him. I think we're going to see the best of Luis Diaz coming in again. And for me, I don't know, because for me, Martinelli, based on form this season, as you said, shouldn't be in this combined 11. Luis Diaz he's not been great either, but he has had more input than Martinelli, in my opinion.
He did.
I think so.
I don't know the stats. Wait. Martinelli has slightly better stats than Diaz, if I'm not. It's in the Premier League website. I'm not seeing it anywhere else.
Look, it's a close debate. Let's just say it's a close close debate. So let's.
So you know what? We'll just leave that to the comment section. Let the comments decide who they want. So striker position, it's not Jesus for me. It is not Nunes for me. It is Jota.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jota as well.
Okay. Woo! We agreed. We agreed.
No, I think Nunes deserves his praise though for how much improvement he's had this season.
This is my personal opinion about Nunes, right? Nunes is a great player. Like, you know those players who have great performance in spite of not having the output in terms of assist or goal. He's that kind of player for me. So, but if
with the thing with Jota is right, he can drop a stinker 0 out of 10 performance. He'll come up with a goal or an assist or something.
Exactly, that's Jota for you. Like, it just doesn't make any sense for me. Like against Arsenal, I think he's played about 14 games. He's had 8 goals, 2 assists, and only 1 yellow card in spite of doing all the random shit in the world. So it's Jota for me. Like before it would.
I think you give him the ball in the box and he will find a way to somehow score. Whether that be near post, far post, left foot, right foot, head, whatever. He'll get the ball somehow. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that game at Anfield, the 4-0. I don't know how with the header he got the header onto Mane. I was like, how did he?
We didn't need to go that far. In the FA Cup when he came on as a sub, his first touch was a header when he jumped over Saliba. I was genuinely shocked. That didn't make any sense to me. So that's why I personally feel it has to be Jota. Like, yeah, Nunes is good. Jesus is good. But I think as an overall product, who's going to give you that end product no matter what kind of game he has, is Jota for me. Many people can tell me, oh, you are completely biased or you're just bending over to Liverpool. No, I'm just saying facts.
Jota has had a really good, since he's come back, has been really good for us. And this guy, he's like a poacher. He can finish with any part of his body, I'm convinced at this point.
Exactly. And manager?
Yeah. Klopp, like no doubt. It has to be Klopp.
I feel it's Brendan Rodgers, but okay, it's fine. We'll go with Klopp.
If you gave Rogers this team, I somehow guarantee you will get relegated still with this team.
What's your predictions for the game?
Look, based on the FA Cup, given that we didn't play a full strength team
Mm-hmm.
without Van Dijk,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be 2 on Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. I feel it's going to be a 1-0 to Arsenal.
I can see that happening through like an 89-minute Martinelli deflected goal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it from us, guys. Giant, thank you so much for being an honorable guest, our first guest in this segment. I hope to do this soon with Chelsea, Liverpool, and other fans as well. But whatever happens, if this thing kicks off, it's because our first guest has been Giant, and he's been really, really kind to be with us in spite of having his injury, and he's going to have a physiotherapy soon. So good luck on your recovery. I will see you soon, Giant. Any final words?
We're going to win the league. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to declare anything.
Okay. Bye then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alright, guys. I'll see you again soon. If you guys are new here, do subscribe, do like, do share all this content because I will be posting very, very soon. I will be linking Giant's socials in the description. Do check out his podcast if you are in the medical field or if you generally just want to know regarding medical field. He has a great podcast, so do check it out. Adios from my side and bye bye.